Welcome back to the Traveling in a New Vegan World Summit 2022. I am Bridie, one of the organizers of this online summit and also the owner of World Vegan Travel. Welcome, everybody. We are so happy to have you joining us for this session. I would like to introduce Christina from Mod Santorini Hotel in Greece, and she's going to be talking about sustainable and vegan travel in Greece. Thank you so much, Christina. Before we start, I just want to do a little bit of housekeeping for everybody that is watching today. First of all, feel free to ask any questions that you would like in the Q&A box that is inside the webinar platform right here, and also to just make some comments or on the chat as well. Replays will be available within 24 hours of the talk going live. It could be a lot earlier than that, but at the most 24 hours of the talk ending, and they will be available until the 5th of February. So if you want to come back and re-listen to this talk, or you didn't have time to listen to the whole talk, that's absolutely fine. The replays will be available there for you. And of course, you can let your friends know about this summit and this talk, and they can register even after the time has passed, and they will be able to watch the session. I want to thank the show sponsors of the summit sponsors of this summit. We've got Vegan Vacations, we've got World Vegan Travel, Margie Travels, Green Earth Travel, Tierno Tours, and Veg Voyages. And we also have a very exciting prize that Mod Santorini is offering. It's actually not an event, a talk level prize. It's actually an event level prize, and we'll be talking about that in just a moment. But you definitely want to make sure that you are registered and everything for that. But basically, if you are registered for the talk, you are in for the opportunity to win this incredible prize. And I really invite people to tell their friends about the summit so they can register and go in with a chance to win this prize as well. And that means that if they win, they should take you too, because you told them about the summit. So with all of that out the way, I want to pass you over to Christina from Mod Santorini. Thank you so much for joining us, Christina.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Bridie. Thank you for the great introduction. We have our presentation that we can start, I think, so we can see the beautiful Santorini.
Do you see
it well? I'll introduce myself. I see it. I hope everybody can see it. Yes, fantastic. Perfect. This summer is a great chance for everyone to connect. I'm really excited and proud to be a part of it. And today I'll be speaking a little bit more broad about Greece, and I'll be highlighting Santorini, as this is where I live and where Mod Santorini, our vegan hotel, is. So we'll go through different islands, different ways that you can be sustainable in Greece while you're traveling, and some great vegan tips for those that are coming to Greece. So we'll go to the next slide, and I think possibly the next slide after this too shortly. So these are just a few photos of Greece. You can see we have some unique and stunning landscape, and I'll go through some of the reasons why you should choose Greece as your next destination or your choice this year for your travel. Next slide. This is the volcano here in Santorini. Just a few photos to introduce myself, and the next slide I'll I'll let you know who I am and how I ended up in Santorini. It's me in Santorini. So for those who don't know me, I'm Christina Boutros. I am the owner with Arillis of Mod Santorini Vegan Hotel, boutique hotel here on the island. I'm hoping this talk will inspire you to come and plan a holiday here in Santorini and in Greece in general. And we hope to see you in 2022. For anyone that has questions, you can chat below and we'll try and get to you during the talk or after the talk. And for all booking or emails, you've got modsantorini.com. So that's our website. Next slide. So I'm actually a Greek Australian and I've only been living on the island since 2019. I've been traveling to Santorini since 2009. So for a while now, the island has definitely changed. I was born in Australia. My grandparents were born in Greece and went to Australia. And so my parents are from Australia. But I definitely have the Greek roots and the Greek blood. And so every time I came to Greece, I would cry to leave and I wouldn't want to go back to Australia. So for me, moving to Greece was something that was always going to happen. It was made a little bit easier when I met Arillis in 2018. And I decided to move shortly after we met so we could start our future together. You can see our photo here, that's on top of our hotel terrace. We started the renovation together when I moved. Arillis already started the renovation on the hotel before I was in the picture. It's a family hotel and it was built in the 80s. So it was not originally a vegan hotel, but it's kind of transitioning into a vegan hotel at the same time as we transitioned into veganism. And it was just something that naturally happened. At the time of talking about it, we didn't actually know that it was a thing. we didn't know that there was vegan hotels. We didn't know that we would have such a huge amount of support from vegans. And I guess the day that we announced that we were going to do this, it was set in stone because we had so many people saying, it's time for change, we're so excited, this is amazing. And it just gave us that extra push, and we definitely put in concrete that we knew that this was the way to go. I mean, I wouldn't do it any other way, but it's always a little bit scary being the first. You have to have, yeah, you have to be sure on who you are and your vision to make sure that you succeed. And we're not even open yet. We will officially open in March for the season, and I think we've already succeeded because we've had just so much support, and I know that we'll have a really good year. So just a little background about myself. And Arillis is born and bred in Santorini. He's got many generations here, so he's local to the island. And I mean, I've got more of a tourist mind, so I know what our tourists would want because it's something that I was not long ago on Santorini. So I think there was a hole that I felt like had to be filled. And so together we've got, good opportunity to do something really good on the island. So let's start with the next slide and dig into sustainable and veganism in Greece. So this is going to be overall in Greece, not just in Santorini, but I think Greece is extremely special to me because I have the Greek background. But even without that, comparing to some of the other European countries, there's so many reasons why I think Greece should be on the top of your bucket list for 2022. With everything that's going on, a lot of people have a lot of stress and anxiety, and I think it's been a long time for people to get out of the house and to get traveling. And Greece is just such a peaceful country. It can be busy in the summer months with tourists, but there's always a peaceful energy even if there is a lot of tourism. And I think there's special parts of Greece that is quiet, even in the busy months, that you can really enjoy some relaxing time, some reset time. And I'll jump into the 5 reasons. So we'll go to number 1, next slide. I think number 1 for most people when they travel, especially vegans, is the food and wine. And I think in Greece, you can't be disappointed. Being vegan, you can be disappointed traveling in general, because it's sometimes very difficult to find not just vegan food, but good vegan food and food that's going to fill you, affordable food. And I think with the fresh produce that Greece has, it can really offer some delicious vegan food. So to keep it sustainable, always try buy local produce, go to small tavernas, small local family-owned restaurants that use fresh produce, that cook their own foods, that are happy to substitute something maybe if it's not vegan, support local small family businesses, things like that all around Greece. They are happy to understand veganism and to, you know, possibly feed you something that's not on the menu. I think Greece is very hospitable when it comes to this, because we're grown up to make sure that you're fed and you're satisfied in the home or in your restaurant, and it would be a crime if someone came to your restaurant and they didn't leave satisfied, or if they left hungry. So I think Greece is definitely top there for food. We have Athens, which is the main city, the largest city in Greece, and for vegan, it's like paradise. They have so many vegan restaurants, they have vegan fast food, their supermarkets are full of vegan options. We've got vegan ice creams, we've got everything you could possibly want. Athens is heaven for vegan. Obviously with Happy Cow and apps like that, you can find all of the vegan choices for you. And I mean, I've been to Athens so many times, I have a huge list of places to eat. So anyone visiting, I can share that list with them. But we definitely have more popping up as well. So Athens and Thessaloniki, the second largest city, they have abundance of choice. You might have to broaden your horizon when it comes to islands, and I like to say there's always something for everyone, and if there's not, the menu possibly is just an example of what they can cook for you, and you can always ask or request as well. And I think Greece, no matter where you go in Greece, every restaurant will have a vegan option. The photo here you can see is a complimentary breakfast that we offer at the hotel. So we do all of our cooking at the hotel. It's all fresh and obviously 100% vegan. We try not to use so many imported products as well. And we do a lot of homemade baking. So following us on Instagram, you'll see that I'm cooking all day, every day. And keeping it sustainable, no plastics, we're using the glass, water bottles and things like that as well. So food and wine in Greece, I think is one of the main reasons people come to Greece. Some people didn't realize that wine is not always vegan. So we do have one vegan winery on the island that's certified vegan. And we do vegan tours that include food and wine, and we stop off at the winery and you can do taste testing. Santorini and other parts of Greece have really amazing wine, and usually it's quite affordable as well. So let's say to visit Greece is food and wine number 1. Number 2, jump into the next slide. Okay, is hospitality. As I was saying before, with the Greek people, we would feel shame if we didn't feed our clients. So we have a word called philoxenia. It means basically befriending somebody who's a stranger. You may not know their name, but you do everything possible to make them feel comfortable. So there's a few photos here that describe this word, or what I feel like this word means to me. And it's a feeling that you're taken care of, and it's a really nice energy when you're traveling. You may not speak to this person ever again, but you have the memory that they looked after you in some way. So you can see this big photo here is a group of people. We've got Adiutis and I taking out our clients to dinner. And this is not something planned. It's just connecting with our guests, and one night offering, would everyone like to go out for dinner? We can take you somewhere that we know that has great food, and making sure that they really enjoy their stay on the island. And I think not just us, but most people we know do things like this, and it's embedded from our parents, our grandparents, and even when Adi's parents had the hotel. This was the 80s and the 90s, so it was a little bit different, but they would cook dinner for their guests, they would play the guitar, they would drink and sing, and really enjoy the moment to make sure people feel like they've had a lovely time with them. There's another photo with me and mother-daughter guests, which was really beautiful. We spent the day together exploring the island, and we created a picnic and sat and ate and talked all day, and it was really lovely, and we still keep in contact. They had a lovely time. They were not guests of the hotel, but they found us and really connected well, so we just spent the day together. So it's an extension of even paying for the hotel service. It's the Philoxenia is really embedded in all Greeks. And there's another photo here with a couple that stayed with us, and they weren't aware of that vegan wine is a thing. So we went on a wine tasting experience, and it was the first time they did something like this, and they really had a great time. So this word hospitality is quite big in Greece. And I think no matter what island you go to, even if it's in the city, you will find this service. But the smaller islands and the more family orientated islands, you'll find that people do go above and beyond for clients. So that's number 2 reason to visit Greece in 2022.
Very good reason.
Jump to number 3. So we're very warm hearted culture. You'll find that our guests will get a hug, hello, or a hug goodbye instead of a handshake. Number 3 is the rich history that Greece has to offer. I mean, most people grow up and learn about the history in Greece, and it's a dream to come to Greece to see everything in real. And I think it's just like mind-blowing how much is still around to see and still preserved. So we have such an amazing history. We have museums all around Greece. We have ruins all around Greece. You could spend all day absorbing yourself if you're a history nerd. But in Greece in general, I think you have to spend at least one day going to museums, going to the Acropolis in Athens. We've got the archaeological site in Santorini, and we've also got the Lost Atlantis Museum. We've got prehistoric museums. So I think number 3, I've chosen Greek history. It's always nice to learn a little bit about the culture when you're visiting a new country, and especially if the culture is so deep in history. And with Greek history, I always find that, or any country that you visit, it's really good to find a tour guide that will take you and educate you in the museum as well. And I think most museums offer this service where you can hire someone to educate you along the way instead of just visual looking, and then you can get a bit more of a better understanding of what you're looking at.
It's really interesting that you can do that you can hire a guide in the moment in the museums.
Yeah, it's I mean, I've traveled a lot, and a lot of the time I choose not to, and then you realize at the end of it, it was such a waste of your time, because there was no point doing it if you're not going to learn from somebody that's local, usually that's grown up in the area, that can help you understand a little bit more. So, and if you're coming in the summer months, it would be recommended to book a guide. And I mean, I'm not sure if all the museums do it, but it's definitely like the main museums and the archaeological site here in Santorini and things like that. The more bigger, well-known ones definitely have guides I recommend.
Fantastic.
Next slide, we'll go to number 4. Okay. Number 4 is beaches. I picked beaches because I'm obsessed with beaches and summer and sun and the sea. And if you're coming in from May to November, we have the perfect weather for the beaches and for ocean swimming, the wide open sea. There's not a place in Greece that doesn't have an amazing beach. All the islands, the mainland, North Greece, South Greece, everywhere has amazing beaches. I've been lucky enough to travel Greece a lot, so I've picked some favorites that you'll see on a later slide, but we definitely have sea therapy. If you're coming to Greece, you can spend all day at the beaches. That's me on the top left in Milos. We have mainly rocky beaches, but we do have beautiful sand beaches as well in Greece. Here in Santorini, we have volcanic sand, which is small rocks. And that's the photos on the bottom there. You can see the black sand and the red sand. So that's all from the volcano. But our water is so clean. It's very blue, it's very green, and it's definitely top 5. You'll find stunning beaches all around Greece. Next. Number 5, I picked affordability. I've traveled a lot and I believe Greece to be quite affordable. Of course, you can do luxury as well, but if you're going to the supermarket or going to a small taverna to eat, it's really affordable. Catching the trains and the buses and taxis and going around Greece, I find quite affordable and quite easy as well. Like the metro and all of that in Athens is really easy to get around. We've always got Greek and English, so the language barrier is not a problem, as well as being affordable. And everybody likes a bargain, I guess. Everyone likes to have an affordable holiday. So people from London can fly here for £15 and, you know, spend 2 days with us and spend, you know, a couple hundred on touristy things and things like that. So I think if you're coming for a short trip and you just need somewhere to get away, beautiful beaches and sunshine, it's definitely an affordable place to visit.
Are there direct flights from Santorini to Santorini?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, there is. There's plenty all around Europe. There's direct flights, and I mean, from the capitals like Paris, London, Berlin, and things like that. There's direct flights from the summer seasons, usually from or around March till November. You'll find direct flights, so that makes it easier as well. And it's more sustainable, only using one plane instead of taking different planes and different forms of transportation. So that's the top 5 reasons.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How much is a glass of wine in a little local restaurant or a restaurant? Because I always find that is my little indicator as to whether something is affordable or not.
So if you're going to a taverna, which is a family-owned run business, traditional Greek food, they give it to you in ½ litre or 1 litre, and it's local good wine. You'll pay a few euros It's not a lot. If you're going to a fancy restaurant, you can pay maybe 10 euros for a glass of wine. But in general at tavernas, it's a 3 or 4 euros.
I see. Fantastic. Now, Christina, we've had a couple of questions already in the presentation. Would you like to answer those now, or would you like to wait a little while?
Yeah, go for it. Let's go through the questions and then we'll go to the next slide. So
sure.
Welcome to ask me.
Sure. So Meredith asks, or she says, I am interested in experiencing Greek island life single. What islands would you recommend for a single woman? And what months are least crowded but still nice weather?
Okay. Well, I can answer this by experience. I was single for all of my Greek visits before I moved here. And Greece is very safe. It's very safe. Even in the cities, it's very safe. You can feel safe walking by yourself. Of course, be aware like anywhere in the world, but we have on our island in Santorini, like basically no crime. So it's, as a single person, you can feel safe. Also, everyone's very friendly. So even though you're single, you can meet people quite easily. If you're staying on islands, most places are walking distance to bars and restaurants. So you'll find, you'll find it really easy to get around if you're by yourself. And what months are the best? Anywhere pre-summer and post-summer. So March, April, May, and then you've got October, November, even December. Those months are nice weather, but not crowded. If you want more of a in-between, you've got June, which is a good month, and July, August, September is like our peak months in Greece. I would say they're the best months though, because you've got the atmosphere of everyone around, more's happening, the weather's perfect and things like that. But all year round you can travel Greece. Even in the winter, if you like hiking and things like that on your own, you can definitely travel. But I think as a single or a solo traveler, Greece is fantastic. You can take the train up to North Greece, you can take a ferry to one of the islands, and everybody, well, I would say most people speak English, so you'll have no problems in communicating if you're lost or if you need problems or if you need to ask where the toilet is or where can I go for a nice meal. I think if you stop someone on the road, everyone would be happy to help.
Fantastic. Thank you. The next question from Fern is English widely understood in Greece?
Well, I think I just answered that. I did say that everyone speaks English. I would say that 99% of the country would speak English, from
Amazing.
Young kids to the older people. So I moved here not knowing Greek, even though I'm Greek, because I grew up in Australia and I have not had a problem communicating with anyone in English. Of course, I know Greek basics, but not fluent. And I find that, yeah, even building a hotel where you need to know business things, you can speak English. So as a tourist, you'll definitely not have a problem.
Fantastic. And before I go on to the last question that's been asked, Terry mentioned, she wrote in the chat, please address COVID. Terry, could you give us a little bit more information about what you would like us to say about this? Because obviously that is a huge topic. I'd love more information so that we can be specific with the answer. And Fern asks again, is the word vegan widely understood in Greece? Would a traveller be understood if they said vegan, please? I
go through that in our talk, so stay tuned.
Got it. Let's do it.
Let's touch base very, very soon.
Great. All
And it's
right.
going to be.
Should we move to the next slide then?
Go to the next slide.
Sorry, before we start, Terry has given some more information. I'm guessing she's saying, are masks required? What is the rate? I guess that's infection rate. Any protocols for safety? I mean, I'm not in Greece, but I can imagine what is happening right now is going to be very different to what could be happening in May. But maybe you can give us an example about what's happening right now.
Well, we're living on a very small island with basically no one here in the winter. So, I mean, we're safe here. We haven't had any issues, but also nothing's open and there's nothing for us to do. So it's very little chance of us getting COVID. I can't speak for the whole Greece. I believe it's winter. So anywhere around the world where it's winter, the numbers are going to go up. I mean, people are testing because they're traveling, so the numbers will also go up. Greece changes their protocols every week. So unless you're coming tomorrow, I think this conversation is super difficult to have. I can speak from experience from last year to say that from the winter to the summer was totally different. In the winter, they did try and lock us down and have mask requirements. And then in the summer, we were completely free. We had no requirements or protocols at all. So I hope and I believe from after Easter, usually they did it last year. So from the 1st of May, hopefully we're in the safe and hopefully we don't have too many disturbance with COVID, because it's already taken a few years off our lives, I think.
I think, yes, I agree. I think that Greece is one of the few European countries, please correct me if I'm wrong, Christina, that doesn't require a test in order to enter. Is that correct?
So at the moment, they do require tests.
Oh, okay, it's changed. Yeah, I see.
They do require tests, and also on departure. And if you are tested positive, you go into a hotel for quarantine, or you can stay with the hotel that you're at. But they do allow you to retest, because some countries don't allow you to retest. They put you into a quarantine for 5 or 10 days without retesting you. But because a lot of the tests are testing positive when you're not positive, they allow you to test again in 24 hours. And as soon as you've got a negative test, you can fly. So, I mean, this is for now again. I don't believe this will be happening in a couple of months, because they just won't be able to control it. There'll be way too many tourists. But you do not need to be vaccinated. You just need to have a negative test. I know that. And one of the countries that has open borders, open seas, it's a bit difficult because we're on the water, and I mean, we're accessible from so many countries. So we've always known to be quite a free country, not so strict. And I think that's helping tourists come to us compared to other countries. You do need to fill out a travel form before you come, and everyone that has come to us said that it's been quite easy. A few people have been randomly tested at the airport as well. But again, I think what's happening now is going to be completely different in the next couple of months when people start to travel. So we'll have to ask again. In a couple of months.
And we've just had another question pop in. If not vaccinated, do you need to quarantine? I think Christina just answered that. You actually, Greece is one of only a couple of countries in Europe where you do not need to be vaccinated in order to enter the country. Right. And you do not need to quarantine. It's like Christina said, it's very open borders. Right, Christina?
Yes, yeah, no quarantine required. You just need the negative test.
Yeah, I believe that Greece was one of the first countries to reopen its borders in 2020, right? Yeah.
To Americans, yes, and to a lot of countries. So, I mean, if we don't have tourism in Greece, like we suffer a lot. We don't have great economy since many years now. And I think that most of the people on the island, their business, either a hotel or a restaurant. There's nothing really else for people. So as you can see in winter, there's nothing open because there's no tourists. So Greece really relies on tourism heavily. So we were definitely one of the first to open. And I think it was one of, I think Greece and possibly Spain was like the top of everybody's travel list last year. And I believe will be the same as this year. And hopefully moving forward every year in Europe.
Of course. Great. Should we move on to the next slide? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I forgot to answer about the masks required. The masks are required inside supermarkets and shops and not outside. But this rule has been changing like on a weekly basis. So again, I don't believe in some of the masks will be required. They weren't last year.
Yes, I mean, that's one of the wonderful things about Greece, because of the climate and because you're outside all of the time. It just means that you don't have to wear masks much at all, right?
Just the supermarket, yeah.
Right. Okay, shall I move on to the next slide?
Let's see what's next. So veganism in Greece, I think you can move on to the next slide as well, but someone asked before about if they asked for a vegan meal, if it would be widely understood. And I will touch base on yes and no, the reason why it will be. So it's more the specific word that might not be understood. So veganism is a new word in Greece. People understand vegetarian, but they don't necessarily understand the difference between vegetarian and veganism. But we have another word that we use in Greece, which is fasting. So our religion is Orthodoxy, and we fast, which means we're vegan basically for a month or 40 days before Easter. So any religious Greek will do this, and it's very common for people to fast, which means it's fantastic because they're being vegan for 40 days. So if you're coming to Santorini or Athens, where it's a very tourist orientated place, they will most likely know the word vegan. But all around Greece, I would say that you should be careful because they may think vegan means vegetarian, and you might need to explain that you're fasting, which means no animal, no blood, no animal products. I think in the years to come, it will be more known, but I believe it's still 50-50. People are not understanding the word vegan and they're getting confused with vegetarian. So unless it's a recommendation from me, definitely check that vegan is fasting, it's not vegetarian.
Next slide.
Yeah, next slide. This is just something that I touch base on. So due to our religion, it involves a fasting period. So, I mean, instead of the word vegan, if they get confused or if there's a language barrier, which I don't believe that you'll have unless you're somewhere quite remote, just write down the word in Greek, which is nistia, and then you can possibly show them like the piece of paper that says it, and then they'll understand. And because it's a religious thing, it's quite respectful. It's not something that they'll laugh at and think, oh, she doesn't eat this, she doesn't eat that. They'll understand and they'll respect it because fasting is quite respected throughout Greece. You'll notice from last year, it wasn't pre-last year, it was more like from last year onwards, that most restaurants now will have vegan symbol or vegan friendly menus, and that was never existent in Greece. It's only really happened in the last 6 months or so. So I can only imagine this year that the restaurants who haven't done it are gonna jump on board and start to put vegan menus. All right, next slide. Okay, now for the fun islands and what islands to visit. I get asked this question a lot. So people might want to come to Greece for 2 weeks and do a few islands and also the mainland. So I've picked 5 islands in Greece that I love. And there's way more than 5 that are good, but most people don't have more time than to visit 1, let alone 5. So we'll go through top 5. Can we all guess what number 1 is? And I started with number 1, not 5. I just thought I would get it over and done with, Santorini. I'm not really being biased. I'm talking about me as a traveler. And I can say that I've been to Santorini more times than any of the other islands. And I've loved Santorini, obviously enough to move here, but it just has a really special energy that none of the islands have. And of course, it's spectacular, it's beautiful, it's peaceful, but we have ancient theatre and some really ancient ruins that you can just feel really beautiful energy on the island. It might not be the most affordable island, it's definitely not the most expensive island, but if you're coming to one island in Greece and it's your first time in Greece, I think even though people say it can be overcrowded, I still believe Santorini is the best island to come to because the island is used to tourism. It has been since the 80s, even the late 70s. So people understand tourism, people understand hospitality. It's grown up, like my generation have grown up with tourists. And I think it just makes it that little bit easier as a traveler, especially as a solo traveler as well. I mean, the food, the wine, the everything on the island is amazing. So number 1 is Santorini. Number 2 is Milos. It's a 2-hour ferry from Santorini. It's a smaller island that some people may not have heard of, some people may have just heard of. It's more of an upcoming island. I think that will come quite busy in the years to come. It's a small fishing island. It doesn't have a lot there, but if you want just a couple of days on amazing beaches, something really unique, like the white rock formations in Milos, where you can see that big photo here, is really spectacular. It's definitely not something you'll see in the rest of Greece. And they have some really cute places where you can get, fasting foods, really great wine there as well. And yeah, it's number 2 on my list. I would go every year if I had like 2 or 3 days where I had nothing to do. I would go to Milos because it's easy to get to as well from Santorini. You can also fly there. They have an airport. Santorini has an airport as well. It's just been renovated. So it's a big international airport, and Milos is a small rural airport, but you can still fly there from Athens or take the ferry. Number 3 is Crete. It's the largest island in Greece. It's huge. You need like a month to explore Crete. I believe in going to Crete and only Crete, not to including anywhere else. So if you were wanting, it's very family friendly, Crete. But if you're wanting somewhere to spend, say, 2 weeks, this is an island to go to and spend only 2 weeks in this island. You will still not see the whole island. You'll need a rental car for sure because it's such a big island. But it has the top 5 things. It has the food, it has the history. It's really affordable. It has probably the best beaches in Greece. That could possibly be my number 1 as well. So it's very different to Santorini. Very, very different. It's more traditional. It's more local. It's very beautiful. Crete's number 3. And that's an hour ferry from Greece, or you can fly there. So they're both islands
an hour ferry from Santorini?
Santorini, yeah. You can see the island on a clear day from here as well. It's very close. Number 4 is Rhodos, or Rhodes in English. I've also been there numerous times. It's the second largest island in Greece, and like Crete, it has everything. It has the shops, it has castles, and it has the history, it has the beaches, it has the food. So Rhodes is very close to the border of Turkey. It is an 8-hour ferry from Santorini. You take the overnight ferry. It stops in Kos and then goes to Rhodes, and it's a really easy ferry because it leaves at like 1 in the morning, and then you get there in the morning and you sleep in a cabin. So it's not too bad, even though it's 8 hours. Of course, you can fly there from Athens, or you can fly there direct from the UK and things like that. It's a big holiday destination for English people. There's a lot of English tourism there. Yeah, it's got the medieval town, and I think the history and the difference between Rhodes compared to the other islands is quite unique. And then number 5, the lucky last one, is a small island called Lefkada, which I feel like not many tourists go to, but a lot of Greeks go there. But I put it in there because it's nowhere near us. It's on the Ionian side, and you can drive there from Athens. I think it's about 5 hours. I've done it before. It's an island, but there's a bridge from the mainland, so it's quite easy accessible. You can drive there, so you can take your car if you're spending a few days in Athens and want to go somewhere outside of the city, but not get on a ferry to Santorini. So Lefkada has amazing beaches, like incredible white sand that you don't really get a lot of white sand. I mean, I miss white sand because we don't have it here in Santorini. It has, I'm not going to say it has the best food in Greece, because it's more traditional small tavernas that may not be so much in veganism for us, but you'll definitely find vegan food. It's a slow town kind of island, so don't expect too much, but expect to see some beautiful landscape and enjoy your time in Lefkada. So they were my top 5. They're the islands. Excluding the islands, I love the mainland of Greece. I think the mainland of Greece is really special. You've got monasteries and hiking paths, and the landscape and food and all of that is more affordable than the islands. So don't just think islands when you come to Greece. We have Thessaloniki and Athens, but anywhere in between that, Mount Olympus, and yeah, just incredible places in between the two cities. It's about 5 hours or 6 hours drive from Athens to Thessaloniki all the way up, so it's not too far. You can take a car and kind of explore all the way up if you've got time. And I mean, I love road trips, I love driving, so I love doing that. And I think the mainland is more traditional, more unique than, I would say, the islands. So that's about Greece and the islands. And now I want to talk about sustainability. Before we move on, I think we've got a question about Crete, so maybe we'll talk about that if you want to ask.
Yes, if you go to Crete, can you cross over to visit the Turkish side?
No, not from Crete, that I believe, but from Rhodes, which is the island that I was talking about that's close to Turkey. There is a boat that takes you to Turkey, and it's only half an hour. The place starts with M. I've done it before, I can't remember, but it's yeah, it crosses over to Turkey, and a lot of Greeks do that because it's cheaper in Turkey, so they'll go shopping and do their things, and then they'll take the boat back to Rhodes. But from Crete, Crete's not that close to Turkey. I would say no, there's no boats. I could be wrong. Or if there is anything, it would be flights. You'd have to fly there. But it's not really I say a sustainable way to get from Turkey if you're in Crete. It's more Rhodes Island.
Okay.
All right.
I'm wondering, is it Cyprus that is the one that's split up between, it's Cyprus, isn't it, that's split up between Turkey and Greece? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I'm wondering whether the questioner got confused. Maybe she's confusing Crete
possibly
with Cyprus, because she says, can you cross over to the Turkish side? Okay.
And I would say no, but and I would say it's dangerous if you're talking about Cyprus.
Got it.
Which is a totally different country to Greece. Now, top 5 sustainable tips. I mean, I have actually a whole list that I've written down because I didn't want to forget any, because I'm really big on traveling sustainably. This is one of the main topics. So sustainability and Greece, I think you could definitely do it. We are starting to move towards less plastic, because Greeks, for some reason, went backwards. They started in the 80s and the 90s not having plastic shopping bags, and everyone was using reusable bags, my grandparents' era. And then all of a sudden, everything was wrapped in plastic. Like even the furniture was wrapped in plastic. Like everything was wrapped in plastic. And we went totally backwards in this country. And me coming from Australia, where we're quite forward thinking when it comes to single-use plastic is like forbidden. Like if you see somebody using plastic, they're judged. So me coming from that for many years to Greece, where I'm the only one in the supermarket with reusable produce bags, was a huge shock. And it's only been I was asked every single time I went to the supermarket, what am I using? Because people were interested, to now it being kind of, I wouldn't say popular, it's still not popular, but understood. People are understanding that there's just way too much plastic consumed, especially the younger generation. So anyway, that's one thing about plastic. But top 5 I wanted to talk about was supporting vegan and ethical brands. So I find there's quite a huge vegan movement in Greece, especially with the younger generation. There's a huge movement in Greece, and a lot of people are starting with ethical brands. So there's ethical fashion. Instead of supporting the big brands like H&M and Zara, there's a lot of small ethical brands. Maybe do some research before you come, or ask some people on Instagram that are into ethical brands in Greece or in the country that you're visiting, to support them, support vegan restaurants, support vegan hotels, support anyone that is creating a sustainable, ethical movement. And I think Greece is definitely trying very hard to move towards that. We did have single-use plastic free for 2021 before COVID. That was the goal of the country. And then when COVID hit, all of a sudden everything was wrapped in plastic. So that's been pushed out the door. But I really hope once COVID stops in the next year or two, hopefully that they go back to that goal and start to push no single-use plastic. They have stopped though some plastic cutlery and packaging for restaurants, which is really good. But I think if you know that you're traveling somewhere and you don't have everything you need, or the shops that you're used to, bring your own reusable drink bottle, bring your own reusable straw and cutlery set and tote bag, and anything that you would use at home. Even though you may not use it, I would say that you're most likely going to bring it with you, and avoid using plastic. if you do come across plastic and you already have a shopping bag that's plastic, don't just dispose of it. Take it to the beach with you and maybe collect some rubbish and then dispose of it, so you reuse even the plastic. And that's a tip that I find works really well if someone's forgot to say, sorry, I don't need a plastic bag, or if you got stuck without your tote bag, accept that you've got it and do good with it, and maybe pick up some plastic waste from the sea. Number 2, use transportation. So, I mean, transportation in Greece, most of the time you'll find yourself walking. Everywhere is really great to walk. And if you do need to get from island to island or from the mainland, you can catch the ferry, catch the slow ferry. Or if you're going to fly, just be conscious of how many flights you're going to take. So perhaps slow travel, perhaps instead of doing 3 flights, be more conscious and say, well, maybe we can take 1 ferry and 2 flights, and just think about the way that you're moving around. It's such a small country, so you don't necessarily have to fly anywhere. You can take the boat. I think I touched on the reusable and the plastic, and explore by foot. Now let's see what else I have on my phone. Slow travel, I just touched briefly, but maybe pick a destination so you're reducing the travel and just stay in the one destination. I think with COVID, people are doing that as well. They're staying somewhere for a week instead of choosing 3 islands to do 1 or 2 nights, because it is more difficult to travel in our situation. And one thing that I heard recently, which I wasn't even aware myself, but some souvenirs are not vegan. Some souvenirs are made from animal products. So just be aware when you're buying souvenirs. 1, try and buy something handmade or local, and try to check if it's made in Greece. Support local economy, not support things that are made in China. But 2, make sure that they're vegan, because occasionally some souvenirs are made with animal products. And support an animal sanctuary and shelter every time that you go somewhere new as well. Try and support either with just visiting them, walking the dogs, or if you can financially support them. And the lucky last note that I had was just vote with your dollar. So if you go somewhere that you find is doing great things, give them a good review or give them a tip. And if you also go somewhere where you think that they're open to change, let them know in person that perhaps they might want to be a little bit more ethical and stop using plastic straws, and maybe have no straws, or maybe have reusable straws on sale. So I think people are willing to listen, and we need the tourism to start telling them, not just the locals doing it. So I think, as I said before, with our culture, we're aimed to please. So if 100 people are telling this one man he needs to stop using plastic straws, he's going to stop using plastic straws. If the guy next door to him says it, he's not going to listen, because it's not a tourist telling him. He doesn't feel the shame compared to if it was a tourist. So there's some good tips on trying to be sustainable. I think people, vegan or not, are really aiming to travel a bit more slowly and a bit more ethical. Next slide. All right, now we finished with the sustainable movement and Greece, and we're going to touch a bit more on Mod Santorini. So I think the next slide is a video by memory.
It is. Just a moment. I just have to.
This video that was made by our clients that came to stay last year.
Okay. so beautiful.
So that was what to expect when you're coming to Mod Santorini, and this was something our clients did, and then they shared with us. So we didn't ask them to put this together, and it was really lovely for us to see that they enjoyed our food, they enjoyed their suite that they stayed in, which is the room actually I'm sitting in, Gama Suite. They enjoyed the sailing cruise that we booked for them, and they also provide vegan food for them on board. The vegan winery that we touched on before. We did a village tour together where I took them around to my favorite villages and showed them a little bit of the traditional side of Santorini, not just the view of the ocean. It was more in the Venetian castles and things like that. And yeah, just wanted to show that video because I think it kind of shows like what the island that you can get. Is that vegan feta? Yes, it's vegan feta on the on the Greek salad, of course. We have all vegan cheeses here, and we make our own vegan tzatziki and foods that people love in the Greek cuisine that are not vegan. We have it veganized, so we've got you covered for cheese and yogurts.
I believe Violife is actually Greek, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
It is Greek. It's from Thessaloniki, where I'm
from.
Sorry.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. We'll go to the next slide if it's easier. So definitely vegan cheese is there. That's one of the questions that just popped up. All right. Accommodation at Mod Santorini. So we have currently 4 suites, and our hotel that before we renovated had 19 suites, but they were very small, and we still have a few more to go. So we will have 12 altogether, but we're only at stage 1 of our construction that's ready, and the next stages will come. So at the moment we have 4, we will have 12, and if we go to the next slide, it will show you the different rooms. So the 4 different rooms, and we've gone through the alphabet. So A, B, C, D is Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, which is the room names. It's also the old ancient way of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, something a little bit different than having just room 1 or room 2. So this is the first room that we have. It's called Alpha Suite, which is A or 1, and it's for 1 or 2 people. It has beautiful vegan fabrics and vegan mattress and vegan pillows and all vegan interior design, which I chose myself because I was an interior designer in my early 20s. So this is Alpha Suite. You can see the bathroom there on the bottom right. It's traditional click-cladic Santorinian style bathroom. So we have a mix of modern and a mix of traditional elements in all of the rooms. Go to the next room. This is Vita. So the B in Greek is pronounced V. If anyone wants a Greek lesson, so it's not beta, it's a Vita. This is room 2. It has ocean view. You can also see the mountain. You can see islands around us. So in front of the window there, you can see Anafi Island, and you can see Eos Island to the left. And it also has a jacuzzi, a hot tub where you can enter through the room and also from the balcony. And again, a click-cladic style bathroom with traditional mixed elements of modern. And you can see in the photo there that we have like the vegan breakfast. So we've got pancakes and chickpea omelette with avocado on toast, fresh orange juice, coffee, tea, all of that's included in your breakfast. Or another thing that we do, which I can see in the photo there, is filtered water. So filtered water is very difficult to come across on the islands. You'll notice that if you don't stay with us, the water might be really salty. We've invested in having filtered water, and the showers will all be filtered as well. So the water is clean. You can wash your hair without feeling like you just got out of the ocean. And our water is complimentary. So no one has to go and buy bottled water, that is plastic bottled water, where I'm going to say 99.9% of the other hotels, everybody's buying water and bringing it to their hotel. We have endless filtered water complimentary. You can bring your own reusable bottle and you can fill it up, or we provide bottles like you can see in this photo in all the rooms, and we top them up as you need them or every day.
How many of your rooms have ocean views?
2 of the rooms. So this room here and the next one.
Okay.
And the other 2 have the city view, the village view. So Gamma Suite is also the same view as the room before. It's just designed a little bit different. It's more modern, and it has the jacuzzi as well. You've got the view of the mountain and the ocean and the islands as well. They all have balconies. All 4 rooms have balconies with table and chairs. Next suite. And then the last suite is Delta Suite. And this one is a bit more click-cladic traditional design. We've used the rocks from the mountain here in Santorini, and it's more of like a cave bed. It has a separate living space. It can be for 2 or 3 people. We can actually make the couch into a sofa bed. We have people coming with like teenage children, or we actually are adults only, but we have children from 8 years old onwards that we are happy to accommodate. So if you've got anyone 8 years old and over, we accommodate by putting them on the sofa bed. We make into a bed. And this one's a bit more traditional with the design. So that's the 4 rooms. And this is our terrace, where we're yet to deck it out with furniture because it's the winter, but we will in the summer have a cafe style vibe on the terrace. So we'll have tables and chairs and couches and sofas and stuff for people to relax. They can have the choice of eating breakfast or any of the meals, because we do offer lunch and dinner service on the terrace. They can watch the sunrise for breakfast on the terrace, and we also do yoga on the terrace and all different workshops. But there's a few photos of our food. We've got the oyster mushroom gyros, which is traditionally with chicken or lamb or pork, but we've used oyster mushrooms, which is delicious. And then we've got the spanakopita spinach pie, fresh juices. We have coconut yogurt and granola that's made for breakfast, and all wonderful food that we have. It's a full menu that you can order breakfast, lunch and dinner. So if you didn't want to leave the hotel, you didn't have to.
That's great. I was actually going to ask you if you have a dinner menu as well. That's awesome. And yes. Terry is just asking here, did you say meals are included in the rate? So is it just room and breakfast or half board?
Breakfast is included in the rates that you see online. And then you can have the option to order lunch or dinner. And there's a menu that's in your room. So when you check in your room, you'll see the menu. And also we'll have like Easter and Greek celebration days that will have events on the terrace, that we'll have packages where people can be included as well in our celebrations. But at the moment, breakfast is included in the rates, and all the other meals are additional that you can pay upon checkout your room tab. We also offer vegan picnics, and we like to say like it's a picnic, but it's more of a dining experience. It's private, it's very romantic, and we've had a lot of interest in this. A lot of people are booking them for the year. You can book this when you book your accommodation. It's a private dining experience where you can see the sunset in a special space where there's no tourist. Most of the time when you go to watch the sunset, it's crowded. So we found a location where it's really private, and we set up a beautiful picnic for you and serve you a meze and fruits and champagne, and you can spend a few hours watching the sunset and watching the view privately. So we offer this as well. Just got a question, what week even is the best weather in Santorini? We have amazing weather from May till December. Depends on what you find perfect. I think perfect is in not too hot, but good enough to swim. The best month would be September because the oceans had time to heat up from the summer months. Even October, but last year, November was really hot. So, I mean, any time from the 1st of May to the 1st of December is perfect weather.
That's a really long season. That's great.
Yeah, we do. We have good weather. And I mean, even up to like the 10th of December, really, and then it gets a bit cold.
Okay.
So I think that's most of my presentation.
Fantastic.
Is that the last slide?
I think it is. Yeah, it is.
See you in Greece.
So, Christina, that was absolutely wonderful. If anyone has any last minute questions or comments they wish to make, I invite them to write them down right now because we'll be finishing up really soon. Christina, this was such an informative session. I do have a couple of questions for you, if that's okay. So, when would be, are there any particular festivals in Greece that are a really good time to go and visit? For example, in Thailand, they actually have a vegetarian festival, and it's kind of a really cool cultural thing to go and check out. And in Bali, for example, they have some other interesting festivals, and it's really nice to go and witness them. Are there any ones that are particularly interesting in Greece or Santorini where we can not necessarily participate but respectfully observe?
Yes, we do. For vegans, we have the Vegan Life Festival in Athens and Chania, which is in Crete, and I think in Thessaloniki as well. So they're huge vegan festivals that you can go and eat all the vegan foods, and vegan suppliers will be there. I believe they're in October, somewhere around then. I don't think the dates have been released for this year. So we've got the Vegan Life Festival. We would love to be a part of it, but because we're operating the hotel, I just don't see us flying to Athens to do it. So we may not be there, but it's a great festival. We also have Greek Easter, which is really big, which is not Greek Easter, it's Orthodox Easter. We find that this period is really special in Greece, but also because we fast 40 days before, that you'll find, like, as a vegan, it's a really good time to come because there's a lot more vegan options in restaurants because they have special, like maybe before Easter, they'll have special things, and the supermarkets are full of vegan products. And then kind of when Easter's finished, it goes back to normal, which is a shame. But I think Easter is a really wonderful celebration. We also have celebrations for all of our churches on the island. So there's probably going to be, there's a good chance that there might be a celebration the time that you're here. So you can always ask, and they're really nice to take our clients to the church, and most of the time they'll make like a traditional dish called fava, which is vegan. It's a split pea dish. It's like a dip, and they give you bread. It's just a very quick celebration where you go have like a little meal to see the church, and the church is usually named, like today is Andonis, Saint Andonis. So today there's celebration at that particular church, and people around the islands, or if you've got that particular name, they'll celebrate you. So we do have quite a lot of religious celebrations in Greece, but the only vegan one I know of is the Vegan Life Festival, which is in the 3 big parts of the country.
Sure. And Robin asked a really good question, and I was thinking about this, so thanks for mentioning it, Robin. How far is the hotel from the beach, because it looked like it was a little bit inland, and how do you get to the beach, or a nice beach that you would want to spend some time?
Sure. So we are in town. So we're in the central part of the island. The island is quite small, so nowhere is more than 30 minutes away. Most places are 10 to 15 minutes. We have our local beach, Exoyalos, which has a taberna restaurant there, and you can spend all day there. That's about a 5-minute drive. You will need to hire a car to get there, or we can take you as well as a transfer service. The two main beaches on the island are the black sanded beaches, Kamari and Parisa, and they are around 20 minutes away. You can take a bus or you can drive there or taxi, but the beaches are, it's more of a day trip, I guess. You would pick what beach you want to go to and spend at least half a day there.
Okay, fantastic. I hope that answered your question, Robin. All right, I think we can finish up now. Christine, I want to thank you so much for such an interesting and informative talk. I mean, it just looks so beautiful there, and I really invite people to go and follow Mod Santorini online, and just see what they're up to. Consider Greece as a destination, and if you are going to Greece, definitely consider Mod Santorini as a destination. And I just want to remind everybody to visit NVW 22, which stands for New Vegan World 22.heysummit.com, and you will be able to access this talk and all of the other talks until February 5th. And also, please make sure you go and have a look at the schedule. We've got a lot of new talks that have just been added in the past little while, so you might have missed them. Thank you so much for joining us, Christina. Oh, go ahead.
We forgot one thing to mention, the giveaway that we're doing.
Go ahead.
I think that's probably a few people have registered because they're excited for the giveaway. But you may have seen the video previously where I was taking the guests around the island. So it's a 5-hour island guide around the island, which includes a beautiful picnic lunch, vegan lunch. And we'll be giving that away to somebody who is booked to stay with us, and it's valued at €500. So that's a pretty exciting giveaway that we'll be doing. And I think you'll be announcing that at the end of the summer in a couple of weeks.
That's right. So the lucky winner for this prize will be notified 24 hours after the summit has finished, and then you can liaise directly with them.
Perfect.
Great.
So hopefully one of you listening today wins, and I'm looking forward to taking you around Santorini.
Thank you. Thank you so much.